Greetings, warriors. I'm going to do a couple late night ones today. Welcome back to Vigor Warriors 2. And we focus on a lot of good issues here. And this next issue we're going to talk about, and I have to get my sheet here, but it's going to be do not listen to what they say. Another good question, another comment from some great listeners that we have talking about the medical field and what people are saying about this stuff. And I can probably go a lot into this one because it's been a lot of years of listening to things and trying to follow people's advices, and it just wasn't right. It just wasn't right. So before I do that, subscribe, comment, like, and please continue to give me great feedback and topics we can choose from. I think the next one we're going to talk about is people coming out of the woodwork. I had someone make a great comment about when they're on this journey, all of a sudden you got people from the past coming back, all these people coming back, and there's reasons for that. So we'll kind of delve into that on a different video. But our question on this one talks about listening to what people say. Now, I in the history of all this, and I think if you go back to brahmacharya and celibacy and a lot of things, I think when you look at the history of mankind, you probably know in different periods of time people have kind of figured all this out, because there's not a lot of stories that are different in human beings over the years. When going back to the Bible, going back to the Egyptians, going back to the Romans, you're not going to have a lot of different stories, right? Because people are human beings, we all do the same types of things. So no matter what generation, people are still going to be different. They're going to be themselves. Those things are going to be similar. Yes, the technology, the creations, those things are different. But you could argue that was a great, like the eight wonders of the world and the past ones and the new ones. You can argue different generations have had, different types of success being creative. It's just that technology and how they did things were different. And so now you look at the information age we have now, and technology, and those things are different. But human nature is still human nature. So we look at this idea of, of being able to deal with this. I mean, a lot of times the trouble is we don't listen to nature, we don't listen to the history we've had, and we just forget it. And I know a lot of people have always said that if you, don't read history and understand history, you're doomed to fail history. You're going to be fail the mistakes of the past. And so when you look at this, one of these ideas is this whole idea of retention and the whole idea of brahmacharya, and trying to continue to use your energy in a way which is your most productive. Now, it's no wonder to me that for thousands of years we probably had this issue going on, and it's not something that changes, because they talk about this in the Bible, they talk about this in Roman times, and all the lascivious behaviors that people went through. And it's no doubt that because they've had children all these years and all these thousands of years, that you're going to have issues when it comes to your seed and your energy. And I think this has probably been dealt with many times. But I'm sure, once again, when you look at when you read a lot of history on this, and you look at how people in the past have done, with retention and everything, you realize that it's not a new term, not a new idea. It's an old idea. It's been around a long time. In fact, it was a lot more was stronger in other generations when people weren't as so-called liberated, so they can do anything they want, even though that's been the case for thousands of years. People have always had that choice. And you look at the Roman Empire, for instance, and you saw a lot of liberated people. And the problem with that was that they ended up destroying themselves because of that. When you have too many lascivious, and what I mean by lascivious is I mean a lot of massive types of orgies and things like this going on back in the Caligula days and Caesar and all that. Now you're getting to the point where all of a sudden, you're kind of destroying yourself. And you can see how weak the Roman army became because of all those type of things over the years. And so when you look at that, you realize that that energy that you have has been something that humans have always had. And so the question then becomes, when you talk about what people are saying, again, I think that it just came in a different version. For example, if you look at the old days and the Roman Empire and the Greeks and all that, there was a lot of people that had issues and multiple partners and all those type of things. It was a very common type of thing back in the Roman Empire, is a good example. But the thing is that they lost control of it, because people lost control themselves. And I think eventually, if you don't control yourself and have some sort of internal way to stop things yourself, then you're going to destroy yourself eventually. And this is kind of why I'm doing what I'm doing, talking about this, because it really wasn't someone like Caesar saying, go out and do it, not a dictator type of person saying, go out and have, release your energy all the time. It came in a different type of form. It came in the images, it came in the doctors, all the health types of people who will tell you that this is a wonderful idea. It's going to be better for you health-wise to be able to release many multiple times a day. And through this whole liberated type movement that we've been through over the last, 20, 40 years, 50 years, it's always been commonly accepted. Oh, it's great to do this. Go ahead and do this. And that was the thing I was told that I was growing up. And I think at some point, if you were not doing it, you were looked upon as being stupid or being weak or being abnormal or something like that. And guys, that's the furthest thing from the truth. But that was what I had grown up with, and a lot of those ideas. And so, of course, you don't want to be left out and be the black sheep of the situation, with your friends and all that kind of stuff. So you get involved in that, right? You get involved in all those things, and you say, you and your friends talk about different people, whether you're male or female, you talk about the opposite sex and those type of things, and basically say, okay, this is great. And so now you get into that type of thing. But in the meantime, what you're doing is really kind of destroying yourself, because obviously all these things we're talking about, losing energy on a regular basis, over a regular basis, you're destroying yourself. It's very common. I've now figured that out after all these years, that you're making yourself weaker unless you're having it for some sort of reason, like a child. That's a whole different matter, because you're trying to, further the population and further the gene pool that you have. But if you're talking about basically just doing it, just for doing it, well, then you're going to lose a lot of those nutrients and things that you've built in. And so you're going to continue then to be kind of weak, almost like a zombie yourself. And you'll become a zombie, right? And now you'll be looking, like for vampires, looking for other people's energy and be attracted to that. So that's kind of the key to it all. You're going to have to keep your energy inside of you to the point where you're not really kind of letting it go and getting to the point where you become weaker, you become stronger. Now you do that, one of the ways you do that is don't be listening to a lot of the Main Street people telling you, and Main Street media telling you, that it's okay to do all this, right? It's okay to do all that. It's okay to do that on a regular basis, a lot of regular basis, okay, those type of things. You don't want to do that, because the thing is, what you really want to do is kind of say, okay, I'm not going to listen to what I'm hearing, right? I'm not going to listen to what you're saying. I'm going to kind of do it and try it myself and see. And so I knew it down deep myself, because I've been a very religious person. I knew this was wrong, because a lot of verses in the Bible talking about energy loss and those type of things, and how you're not clean for 6-7 days after you do it. Now I will also say that even the thought, the edging is wrong too. But once again, you're at a point where I was at a point where that was better than releasing. But as you do this more and more, now you kind of go back, you're heading towards monk mode, and it becomes easier to kind of stop all that stuff. Even a lot of thinking about it, you're transferring that into something else. Remember, energy cannot be destroyed. It just transfers. So once you get a thought like that, then you bring it into something else and you transmute it. But once again, you cannot listen to the people that are telling you, oh, it's okay to go ahead and do this and release whenever you feel like it, right? Because all you're doing, and as we had a few people talking about this, I mean, you feel bad. Once you do it, you feel bad. Now that's got to give you a sign to tell you something's wrong, especially if you've been on any kind of streak. You know what's wrong, right? You down deep realize that initial type of satisfaction is not a good thing. And that's one of the differences between initial satisfaction and long-term satisfaction, gratification. And so as you look at this, it's better to wait. It's better to wait and hold on to your energy and do it at a time where you feel like it's going to have a purpose. Unlike trying to say, okay, I'm going to just go ahead and release several times and I'll do it any way that I can. It just killing yourself, and the energy's got to go somewhere, right? Somebody else. The succubuses will suck you dry. The vampires will suck you dry emotionally, and all of a sudden now you're kind of like a walking zombie. And I see a lot of people like that, and that's a shame. But that's something that also in society that I believe that has been one of the purposes with all the stuff that you see, these images, this billion-dollar industry we're talking about here, who are just trying to control young men and women. And women do as much or maybe more than men in watching those images. And you're getting to a point where you're becoming mindless because that's all you're doing. And I have a feeling that's kind of what people want you to do anyway, to sell products, to gain control. So you're not going to really be strong male. Strong males, to my mind, guys, is something that's highly feared. And we see this all the time in the media and things like that. They don't want virile men. In fact, it looks like they want the opposite of that. But don't fall for that. Don't fall for that at all. And you know this because women will be highly attracted to you because what they really want, even though they may not say it, is a strong male. Because it's hard to find. And if you're on your purpose or you're on your goals, you're not going to have a problem doing that. But you can't listen to other people telling you, oh, well, it's better to go ahead and do this and waste yourself away by doing those type of things. So once again, guys, do not listen to what people are telling you about this. Follow your own instincts. Try it. Oh, there goes my kitty cat. Try it and see how it's going to help you and the benefits, okay? And on that note, my little kitty cat Sass says goodbye. And so until next time, battle on, warriors. Battle on.